Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bands of Confusion, a video cast dedicated to highlighting and supporting local Pierce and King County artists, musicians, bands, and live music venues. My name is JW Collier. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok under JW Drummer Boy. You can also find Bands of Confusion on Facebook and Instagram under Bands of Confusion. If your band or venue would like to be featured on a future episode of Bands of Confusion, please message me on my Facebook page, Bands of Confusion. So tonight on Bands of Confusion, I will be interviewing the band Walker Sherman and the Heresy. The format for these interviews will look like this. I'm going to introduce the band and the members. We'll get to know each of them individually as well as a band. Then we'll listen to some of their music, and then we'll let you know where they're playing live and where you can listen to their music. Okay? So once again, I'm here tonight with Walker Sherman and the Heresy. They are Walker Sherman on guitar and lead vocals. Walker, raise your hand. There you go. Andy Wampum on bass. Raise your hand. There you go. Nate, and I'm not even gonna try your last name, bud.
Hey, what's happening?
Okay, he's on keys, and then Thien Aldergreen on the drums.
Sweet.
Nice. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Walker Sherman and the Heresy. So Walker, being the name of the band is after you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about where the band started, the origins of the band, kind of what you're looking to do, what your ideas for the future look like?
Yeah, sure. I've played in a ton of bands in the area, and I feel like everybody always gets confused if it's something that I'm putting on or whatnot. So that's kind of why I put my name in it. But yeah, I had a band that was coming to an end, and I had the thought, if I could play with anybody, who would I play with? And these were the guys that I played in different bands with them before, but never in this exact lineup. And just wanted kind of two rules was like, I wanted somebody I could relate to musically, and then I wanted to play with musicians that were kind of like lifers, people that are going to play no matter what.
Yeah.
These are guys.
And it's not easy to find, is it?
No, a lot of hobbyist type folks, and that could play, but I love playing with people that just have to play.
Yeah, I think the thing that I find when I run into somebody that I know I want to work with is when they say I get to go to practice tonight. You know what I mean? That's the kind of people I want to work with. Great. So the Heresy, tell me a little bit about that. Why did we add that in the end?
Yeah, I think it just kind of goes with a lot of my stuff these days. Like a heresy isn't lack of belief; it's an unpopular belief.
Okay.
And so I feel like with like a lot of my like religious beliefs and stuff over the years, but also musically, it's been kind of like a blending together of different sorts of things. And so like I grew up with playing the blues quite a bit. My dad was like a touring artist in the 60s and 70s. And blues has always stuck with me. That's maybe not like the most popular music right now, but I wanted to try and find kind of a way to blend that together with Seattle grunge rock and, also kind of some psychedelic sounds and all that. And then, subject matter that I write about, a lot of the songs are, they kind of cover everything. I try not to shy away from any topic, but a lot of them are spiritual.
Okay.
Just maybe kind of juxtaposed with songs you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. All right. How about Andy? Tell me a little bit about your upbringing in music.
Oh, well, I started, my first musical experience, I played the trumpet in middle school, but I wasn't very good at it, and it wasn't really my thing. And yeah, I just never got into it. Then some buddies of mine, when I was a teenager, they started playing guitar, and I was like, oh, that seems a lot cooler. That I can like sit in my room and jam out with, like, and not like annoy the whole neighborhood. And anyway, so just like I got a guitar and started playing, and then first band when I was 16, and
nice.
Yeah, I've been playing in bands ever since, and then ended up I started on guitar and then ended up getting handed a bass guitar at one point because no one else wanted to play bass. And I've played bass in a lot of groups over the years now. So, and then
awesome.
yeah, just met these guys all along the way through local music community, and then we all just sort of have converged together
Yeah,
after quite a few years, and it's been a lot of fun.
that's cool. All right, Nate, how about you?
See, I grew up playing the piano and still play the piano.
He does. We can
Play it.
we can
Yeah.
verify this.
and,
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I played a little bit of organs and stuff in in college. Started playing rock and roll and blues in college, and then when I got to Tacoma, I played with a bunch of different bands here and there. I had a jazz group for a while. And then yeah, just about a year ago, Walker came up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to play some organs and some organs and some Rhodes?" And I was like, I'm not sure. And, I changed my mind, and I'm glad I did, and yeah, here I am now.
Cool. All right, Theen, how about you?
Well, I actually started playing the piano probably when I was I don't know, probably very young, like in first grade or something. And what I used to do was pick the hardest song on the song bank, and I jack the tempo all the way up, and then I open the window, and I just like pretend that I was playing really fast, and all the neighbors would walk by and be like, "Yeah, that's me." But I think they caught on pretty quick, actually. But, well, so I had my keyboard at home, but I really liked the loud sound of drums, so I started playing. I tried to play snare drum in school band, but they wouldn't let me because I hit the drum too hard. So they made me play glockenspiel first, just like a kind of like a bell set of like key. It's like a keyboard with like some bell sounds.
Okay.
And so I learned that, and I already knew keyboards, so it was kind of easy. But once I got the snare drum, I was like, this is really cool. And then my dad got me a drum set for my it was Christmas, 5th grade, and my parents didn't want me to have a drum set. My parents were divorced, but my mom and stepdad didn't want me to have a drum set, and they got one for Christmas, and they're like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" So I started listening to like, heavy metal albums and like playing drums and like really digging that. And then after a while, I met Walker and we started playing in like worship bands together.
Okay.
And we would do, I think we did that for like a couple years. And then we've just been kind of like bands ever since. But this is like this is the strongest, I feel like, iteration of what we've come up with so far. So
That's great.
saying something, man. How many bands have just me and you played in together? I think
quite a few. Depends on, I mean, it really depends on what you call a band.
yeah.
Because like there's like just like those one-off things where it's just like a bunch of friends hanging out on stage and jamming. That's
Yeah.
always a lot of fun, but it's like, but yeah, I really like what we're coming up with now in this band because it feels like all of that experience is like being pushed into what we're making as a band.
That's great.
So,
You can
that's
tell
what-
too. You guys sound really good. I really like your sound.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think there's something special about like knowing people a little bit better than just an acquaintance, and also like liking them. Like I feel like that's kind of my new definition for success in bands and all that. Talking about where we're going, like I just want to play with people that I love and music that I believe in like a venue that's like the appropriate kind of venue for that sort of music expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels better when we play together, and we're vibing off each other. It's super cool.
For sure. Yeah, I'm kind of, new to it myself a little bit. And as I've been playing with a couple different bands here recently, the thing I've really come to learn is, it's an intimate relationship, the members in the band. And if you don't like the people you're with, there's just no way for that to work, So yeah, you definitely got to find the right people.
Unless you're getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah. I think even then, that's why they break up, right? Like if you don't like them, eventually it's going to come to a head. So how long is this group, the four of you, how long have you guys been together?
It's been about a year now. I'd
Okay.
say, but yeah, we haven't been super active gigging wise. Like we've really been hibernating and getting the sound just right.
Cool.
So we played, a handful of gigs, but have some big ones coming up that we're excited about.
Nice. Yeah. We'll definitely hear about those in a little bit. Cool. All right. Let me go ahead and I'm going to play this. You guys have this little demo that you sent me, and I'm just going to go ahead and play it because I think it's kind of cool and it's a good way to kind of get to see you guys in action. So bear with me 1 second here. All right. Real quick. Nice. Screaming guitar. Love it. All right. So let's kind of move on to the next thing here. All right. So I like to just ask some kind of random type questions just to kind of see what you guys are thinking, where you're at with some of these things. So pretty simple. We'll just start maybe with Nate and just kind of work our way around. Okay. So let's talk about how would you describe the style and genre of your music?
Oh man, I would say it's very much rock and roll. Yeah, I don't know really how to describe it. It's a little bit psychedelic at times,
Yeah.
very bluesy, a little bit country. Um, yeah, pretty rocking though.
Definitely rocking. Yeah. Yeah. But you got a softer side in there too. A little every once in a while. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Rocker's definitely got a soft side.
All right. How about so Walker? How would you describe your creative process when you're writing, when you're recording, creating? What does that look like?
Oh, well, I feel like I'm always in one of those seasons. I'm either in like a season of writing stuff or arranging, and then kind of like that performance piece goes throughout the whole thing. A lot of these songs I brought to the band. They had been written and arranged in different ways, and it's one of the connections that Nate and I have is through jazz. Both of us grew up on jazz music, and
Hmm.
one of the things that I really like about like the bebop era of music is my favorite era. A lot of them would play the same standards, but it'd be different takes on it, and so it was
Hmm.
really cool to hear how this group of musicians would express like this standard. So this first batch of songs, I've written a handful of new ones, and then and some of them are old ones, but they feel new to me, and it's been really cool. A couple of them, it's I'd kind of gotten tired of them or whatever, and these guys really breathed new life into these new arrangements. Um, so that's kind of one side of it. I usually write like the lyrics and melodies and everything with the acoustic guitar first. But it's been fun, now being kind of a year into it with these guys. I'm starting to write with them in mind. And the band's
Hmm.
kind of morphed a little bit. I thought this was going to be kind of a Chris Stapleton sort of vibe of the band. And so the first tunes that I brought were a little more country forward, but
Yeah.
it's been neat. It took us maybe about 3 months, and we started to find what we sounded like together.
Okay.
And that's what I'm really excited about for the future, is just continuing to develop that sound with these guys.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, part of it's just putting in the time, playing.
Yeah. Yeah. And learning each other, like you said, getting to know each other and learning the strengths of everybody and what everybody brings to the table, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting a good sense. I mean, I've played in a bunch of bands with these guys, and so we already kind of know where each
Yeah.
other. It feels a little more natural, so it's been fun to see what that churns out.
Cool. Nice. All right. How about for everybody? Well, let's see. Dean, let's start with you. So, who do you admire as a musician? Who do you look up to? Who's a mentor?
Well, I think I admire anybody that tries. I like people that really try hard on their instrument and really get work done. I can really kind of tell when somebody is kind of like they'll say they play an instrument, but it's like I'll get to really hear them, and they'll be like, well, yeah, I practice this instrument like 15 minutes, once a month or something. And it'll be like, well,
Whoa.
I really like hearing arrangements and musicians and people that try, and people that try a lot, like they're like that's pretty much like their job. Like clinician musicians are people that I really admire, just because they can be stuck all day with their craft and they don't get tired of it,
Yeah.
and they just can keep going. It's like, if you really find that thing that you like to do for work, it doesn't feel like work at all. And so I admire the musicians that do that and can make it, be endlessly excited about it.
Cool.
And also be like it, endless wells of creativity. That's what I really admire about the musicians that I like too. People that you just, maybe you're sitting down and you're jamming with them, or you're just listening to like the stuff that they put out on like Spotify or whatever, and it's like like maybe you'll listen to an album and every song is different,
Yeah.
but it's not like different in a cheesy way. It's like different in like they really took a lot of time to sit down and think about like, what is this song going to do to the album, or what's this song going to do to the album? Because that's how I think about songs a lot too. Like, especially if I'm like creating set lists or recording my own stuff, I'm always thinking like, what is this song going to do to the album,
Yeah.
So,
And that's kind of a lost craft these days too. I heard somebody in an interview recently that said that they felt like that the idea of sitting down and listening to an album from beginning to end is gone, and that's a lot of where what you're saying really came into play, is where what does each song mean in this album in the context of what you're listening to at that time, right?
yeah.
And we've
So in
lost that a lot.
yeah, in that case, you have to condense that all into a single.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's so difficult to do.
Yeah.
It's like a business card,
Yeah.
It's like, here I am in 3 minutes. But I mean, it kind of, it's helpful too. Kind of like how, Twitter has like you can only put so many, characters in there.
Yeah.
Well, now we're just like cutting the fat and like, putting what we really are out there.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool to do too, in ways, like create songs like that.
Yeah.
Like,
That's interesting. Yeah. It's a neat way to look at it. Positive way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think vinyl's going to come all the way back. That's my hope. I made the mistake of buying a record player about a year ago, and now I'm broke. But it's been a lot of fun. All right, Andy, how about you? Who do you look up to? Who do you admire?
I admire any musician who is, willing to, be themselves, or to sort of, move forward, break conventions of what they've done before. I think the bands that I've always admired are ones that they may have like a particular sound one album, but that doesn't necessarily mean the next one is going to be the same. Like there's always like a forward progress or constant evolution. Because it's like I get tired of hearing the same band. That's probably why I don't really like AC/DC that much, because I'm like, of course they're a great rock and roll band, but it's like AC/DC sounds like AC/DC all the time.
They don't do this.
But I like bands that are always like
Right.
taking risks,
Yeah.
and not not letting the pressure of like whatever dictating, but just being honest with your art and taking chances, maybe being a little weird with stuff.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate about this band is we're willing to explore different areas, different genres, and that there's a freedom to do that and to create, and maybe throw out an idea that might seem a little far out or doesn't really fit, but it's like there's an openness to exploring those ideas.
I agree. And like you said, it is a risk, right? Because sometimes it may not work, and you got to be okay with that too, right? And move on. learn
Yeah.
from it and do the next thing. Yeah,
We've had some cool things that have come out with some of those wild ideas, though, like
absolutely.
the way that we ended up rearranging "What Are We Fighting For," like the bass and double time and all that. And it almost like was presented as a joke at first, like,
Yeah,
what if we
yeah.
do this? And we kind of got this rule: try anything like one time, and if it's just dumb, then we'll just have fun jamming it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
more often than not, we've had like some crazy ideas. Well, Thien, you had that with "I Would Bow." That used to be like a two-step sort of country
Yeah.
feel, and then you put that reggae groove over it.
Yeah, we were kind of looking around for the rhythm for that song, and we just kind of, we try so many different things, and that's why I always feel like it's important to, when you're a band, to record every practice that you do
Yeah.
and listen back to it, and just kind of like make it so that you can listen to it in the car, listen to it, like make it really accessible.
Yeah.
And I think what we did for that song, or at least what I did for that song, was just kind of listen to it and like, what kind of different versions of this song could exist that would also work for the arrangement, and
Yeah.
then you further refine that, of course, in the practice room, when you bring all those ideas and you find out that literally nothing that you thought was going to work actually works. And then, you go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
That's great. All right, Nate, how about you? Who do you look up to?
Let's see. I've over the years I've looked up to a lot of just my, close friends who have really just been, into their craft, and it's a part of what they do. I remember when I was living next to this guy named Simon Cornelis. I'd be next door and I could hear him just, practicing all the time. And, that was just who he was. And I really look up to people like that who, really feel, what they do. And it's like they have to do it. It's like
Yes.
a part of them. So yeah, really just, people around me, like all these guys. And, I feel like, yeah, music it's like a part of them. It's like a big, building block of their identity. And, it's not
Yeah.
just a hobby. So musicians like that, yeah, that I'm close to, that I get the privilege
Yeah.
of knowing and being around. I look up to those kind of musicians.
Cool. Thank you. Walker, how about you?
Oh, well, mostly I look up to Nate.
Oh, that's kind of you.
Yep. I remember the first time I saw Nate perform, he was playing some like ragtime jazz music at this house party, and we were all eating casseroles and drinking cheap beer. And I was like, this is the coolest party ever. I was thinking, where'd they find this guy that could play ragtime jazz? Yeah, you just like a mystery for so long.
Is that right?
Yeah. But I would say like my dad is a big part of my story. That's one of the earliest memories I have is playing, little shakers and different things like that with him, and he taught me how to play Wild Thing on the bass. I remember that. It was like my
Nice.
first learning, but I just kind of grew up around that a lot and got introduced to a lot of different kinds of music. But he was kind of into that like golden era of rock and roll. So there was a lot of Hendrix, a lot of Santana,
Yeah.
especially Sergeant Pepper's. That was his favorite.
Oh, wow.
Stones and all that. And then, like I said, in high school, for a while, I wanted to be like a jazz session drummer. I actually started on so I was really into like Thelonious Monk and Wes Montgomery and a lot of the boppers. And I like this idea of music that like in jazz combo music like that, you have like a head, and that's what everybody kind of gathers around, that central melody. But then there are these solo sections where there's like a commentary on what the head is trying to say. And I always looked at that as like, like the saxophone player has something that they want to say, and then maybe the guitar player, they're like relating to what the saxophone player had to say as well. Even though like I primarily make rock and roll music, like that sort of philosophy of music drives a lot of what I want to do. I want to see us interact with each other, and that's why I'm down to try, any musical idea once, because I think like there's greatness in all these dudes, and you never know what's going to come out, and it's nice to have an environment that feels like safe, where you can bring an idea that might crash, or it might be really great. I think that's where some cool creativity happens. So I feel like I learned that from bebop. They weren't afraid to make a mistake, and like with Thelonious Monk, he got beat up a bunch for playing wrong notes or whatever, but it ended up just really adding so much tension and release and color and expression to what he did. It's funny, most of my favorite musicians aren't guitar players. Saxophonists or piano players.
But that's cool though. I like that. It brings more to what you're playing, My I have a 13-year-old who's a guitar player. He's a total metalhead, but we kind of forced him to join the jazz band at school, and he's kind of digging it now. He doesn't listen to jazz, but he's enjoying playing it. But then he comes home and then tries to kind of translate that into the metal he's playing. So it's really neat to
some of that Dream Theater.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is. He's a total prog rock guy. Yeah, it's fun. All right, let's get to some music. So what I'll do here, I'll start with Chasing the Wind, and we'll listen to it for a little bit, and then I'll bring us back, and you guys can tell us a little bit about that song. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna go here.
Those songs a long time ago. I'm gonna have to think about what I have to say about them.
I can only comment on the drum parts. I should.
All right, there we go. Okay, so here we go. Chasing the Wind.
Got my woman, but I ain't got no soul. I got my money, but I ain't got control. Got my fortune, but I ain't got no fame. I'm just chasing another burning flame. Hey! Got my past. Satisfaction don't never seem to last. All my life's been chasing the wind. Thanks for more, it never will end. All my life's been chasing the wind.
All right, nice.
It's nice fade.
Bring it back. Cool. Chasing the Wind. Who can't relate to that, man? All right, tell me a little bit about the background on that song.
Oh man, it's just a song about feeling cantankerous and frustrated and tired of almost
Okay.
in life. And yeah, I wrote that song with my friend Tom Bailey once upon a time, and we used to work together, and he came to my office. He was like, man, I was thinking about that conversation we had the other day. Maybe we could write a song about this sort of idea. And kind of rewritten lyrics a couple of different times, but that's how it found its origin.
Cool.
But yeah, kind of in the end, I feel like, with the bridge and everything, it's like you just kind of want to throw your hands up and be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna do whatever, since trying hard's not working. I guess I'm just gonna give it up. And I think that was just kind of me fantasizing about, like, I've always, for a long time in my life anyway, I've been kind of a rule follower, and and doing what I'm supposed to. And I think it's me just kind of fantasizing about coming out of pocket a
Nice.
little bit, just doing
Sometimes you just got to do that too, right?
yeah, I do that a lot more these days than I did when I wrote that song, for sure.
That's funny.
Maybe it's been somewhat prophetic, who knows.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm the opposite. Like my partner's a total rule follower, and I'm more the kind of like will not follow the rule just for the sake of not following the rule. But I'm getting better.
You
Keep
got that
working on it.
oppositional defiance.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So this one's going to be I would bow.
He would bow. That tune, that's probably the oldest of the tunes on this. Yeah, I wrote that. I was going to this little church in Geneva, Alabama, and there was this chick that got up, and she was gonna give a testimony. And I used to always cringe when that would happen, because I'd be like, oh man, this is gonna be awkward and long, and it's gonna break into tears, and how's this gonna stop? And it was like that. But it was just really sad. She just kind of got up, and she was talking about basically how she felt like she'd done so many mistakes in her life, like that God could never love her. And like in context, like I think the mistakes included like having premarital sex or something.
Yeah.
Like, really epically bad things. So yeah, but I just felt for this idea of feeling separated from, like, God like that. And I thought, well, it seems like I always feel that way too, regardless of how many rules I follow or whatever else. And so I kind of, there are all these songs. At the time I was a minister, doing music ministry in churches, and there are all these songs about, all these concepts about, God doing all these things for people. But I kind of wanted to write a song about like somebody that would do anything to be at peace with God and felt they couldn't. And so that's kind of it. And then towards the end, the twist is that maybe all the shame and guilt that she felt all along was unnecessary.
Yeah. Huh. All right, let's give it a listen.
rise from mountains peaks. Your voice was a thunder breeze. I'm strong.
Nice. All right, bring us back. Awesome. So I haven't heard from anybody else there. What do you guys? Do you have any thoughts on those two songs I played? Anybody else in the band there?
Well, yeah, I think, I would bow. We were spending a lot of time on figuring out the vibe of that song. Well, I mean, Nate's got a sick, organ solo in the beginning. So, we were working on that for the past couple of weeks. And I don't know, how'd you come up with that? Did you?
I don't know. It was that it's kind of, I sort of ripped it off from the House of the Rising Sun, I think.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
I was thinking when I
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we were just jamming around with that.
So yeah, it's
and
loosely based off that
Yeah.
melody.
Huh.
That's sort of where it came. But you liked that one sort of like video game like intro. Boom, boom. It was kind of had this like Doom, like Mario and the
it's almost like a Legend of Zelda dungeon.
Oh, funny, yeah.
kind of
There's no-
dungeony.
That's a
That-
Dungeness song. I'm glad that you did that.
That's good. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, you guys. Now, from what I understand, we don't have anywhere where you can, you don't have the music up anywhere yet. Is that true?
That's
People can go. So
Mhm.
they
Yeah,
gotta
no,
come see you live.
Yeah, gotta come see us live, and we like to. We've been doing a couple of live streams here and there of
Okay.
the jams in the space, and those tracks you heard, that's all just live in our practice space.
Yeah, that's great. Great recordings too.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We
Thanks, Dean.
we'll definitely make a record here on the near side of it. But we wanted, I feel like all of us have probably done like a project where it's like you're rushing so quick to get to the record, or maybe you've booked the time already, or maybe you've got a big show you're going to do, you want the record to be ready by then. And I just really wanted to take our time on this one and really see what kind of magic we could do. But that being said, I think we'll probably end up in the studio in 6 months.
Yeah, cool. So let's talk about where you guys are playing next. So it sounds like you have a couple of things coming up. Where can people come and see you play live?
Yeah. Why don't you tell us, Andy, since you're the man behind that one.
Well, we've had a gig in Tacoma on April 12th. We're opening up for Gunger, and that's going to be at Alma
Okay.
in downtown Tacoma. And then we just got added to their Seattle gig the night before, and that's
Oh, wow.
going to be at the Chop Suey.
Oh, nice.
So that's the 11th. So next Tuesday, Wednesday with Gunger, Seattle, and then Tacoma the next night. And all that information is on our Instagram, I believe, our social media. So yeah.
And that's at Walker, Sherman, and the Heresy
Yep.
for
Yep.
Facebook and Instagram, correct?
Yep. You got it.
Yep. So that'll be fun. Little back
Yeah,
to
busy
back
2 nights.
double header. So
Yeah. I'm going to try to
we're
come to
very-
the one at Alma. That's going to be my plan right
Cool.
now. And we're playing on the 14th, so I'm not sure if we're practicing or not. But if not, I'll be there, hopefully.
cool. Yeah, and
Such
it's
a great venue.
it's exciting too, especially like Walker's been a fan of Gunger, and he's been
Oh, great.
been an inspiration to him as well. And so it's like cool to be getting to do some shows with him at this.
That's awesome. Yeah, very, very cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, you guys. Kind of to finish up what I've been wanting to, get out there and start talking about, just kind of open up the conversation. I talked with Ian about this a little bit. And one of the reasons I'm even doing this video cast is the idea of just trying to get musicians communicating, supporting each other, getting out there, seeing each other play live, trying to figure out a way to make that more of the norm. Because in my mind, I keep thinking, God, if you had 10 or 12 musicians out of the thousands that are out there showing up at your gig, it just makes it look that much better, right? And If you get more people in the venues, you get venues offering more dates, you get more venues opening up. It's just kind of better for everyone, you know? And so I'm even trying to think about a way to get something where people could like sign up, you know, hey, I'm going to go see your show here. You can come see us over here. You know, I don't know, something like that where we can just get people out there supporting each other. You guys have any thoughts on that? Anything you could add to that idea?
Yeah. Scene definitely needs something like that. I feel like there are some well-attended shows that happen in Tacoma, but there are also some not very well-attended shows. And I feel like sometimes that happens because like I'll see a lot of people and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm really bored on this day, but I just don't know what's happening."
Yeah.
You know? And even, you could be like, well, you can look up, like Facebook events or, something like that. But it seems
It's not easy though.
no, it's a real hassle. And
Yeah.
it's like, even I know when sometimes I'll be hanging out and I'll be like, oh, I want to go see live music tonight, like, and I'll try and find something and I'll be like, well, the only place I really know where to go is like, Facebook events or,
Yeah.
like I'll talk to my friends sometimes, but yeah, it'd be good to have like some sort of depository where you could be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is happening, that's happening, and
Hmm.
whatever else.
That's something I can even do with this, with the Bands of Confusion idea, huh? It's just have a resource with everything and everybody I'm talking to and where they're playing,
Yeah.
somewhere you could go to. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Maybe like a little kind of like a links and stuff and
Yeah,
just something that's clean and professional and easy to use.
the ease is the biggest one, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's a great idea. Thank you for that. So, like I said, this is all kind of a work in progress and new. I'm just throwing things out there, trying to figure out what's going to stick. And, so please, look up Bands of Confusion on Facebook, Instagram, follow me if you guys haven't already, and spread the word. Okay. While you're spreading the video, and hopefully we'll get more people on here.
Sounds
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, it's nice to meet you guys. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for trusting me with this so early on. And I really appreciate your professionalism. And you guys are just sitting there like killing it. I love it. It's super cool. It's amazing to me how people are kind of responding to this and coming on and treating it like a real deal. And so I appreciate that very much.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Definitely. All right. Well, once again, this is Bands of Confusion, videocast dedicated to highlighting and supporting local music artists, bands, and venues. So get out there and support the local live music scene. We'll be looking for you guys in the clubs.